What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm with Jay and we are locked in. This is the recap for episode 7 of Raising Kanan. And well, the war is about to start. We realize that there's a side that you have to choose, and it's either you're with Unique or you're over there with Rock. Now, you could be in between and be with Kanan and just trying to find your way, but trust me, that's a dangerous place to be because your mom's going to be pulling you one way and the streets are going to be pulling you another way. And at this point, Unique is here to stay. We know he's the king of New York, and when we break down this episode 7, we're going to see that Unique did not come to play. So before we jump into this and we break down the recap of episode 7, if you like power content, breakdowns, theories, and predictions like this, recaps, live after show discussions, then hey, you're at the right channel. I love power. You love power. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Make sure you hit that like button. We're on that road to 75,000 subscribers, so I appreciate each and every one of you. But let's jump into it. This is the recap of episode 7, Raising Kanan. The moment we all been waiting on. The stare off between Rock and Unique. He's in the kitchen eating the ice cream and he tells Rock straight up, everything that's went wrong is because of her. He died before. He ain't trying to die again. He wants to take over every single thing that she took from him. He even gives a mention to High Post and DEF CON and how she screwed them over just to get their product. So that just gives a little bit of insight about what happened and how Rock claimed the fame came from attaching to dope dealers and then taking over. Well, Unique doesn't want that to happen with himself, and he's letting her know that right now the streets are his, and everything she got, she's about to bleed because it's all going straight to him. We see them Jersey boys. Arkbar and brought his whole crew. Now, they can't lay down any bodies, but what they can do is get you up off those corners. And that's what they doing. When you got the muscle, the weak ones, they gotta leave because only the strong survive. They even start taking over the Chinese spots. So Unique is holding down Rock right now and letting her know what the play is, while Arkbar and his crew are doing everything that Unique set out for them to do. And oh yeah, let the streets know that the streets, these corners, these restaurants, they all belong to Unique now. Lou sits down and he's meeting with Imani. Now remember, Imani got upset with him and she's telling him straight up, look, we do business together, but let me know what it is. If you're going to be messing with somebody else, let her know up front. She was really mad and jealous that it was with Jessica, his ex, but Lou is saying it just happened. It was a spur of the moment. Famous was dead. She came out here and it just happened. But he's not trying to break her heart. And he really means it. He does have feelings for Jessica, but he's telling Imani, look, whatever we got, let's keep it that way. Because she doesn't want to catch feelings and she don't want her heart broke. But Lou low-key a little player, but he was being sincere. He didn't want anything and he didn't mean anything by it. In the Thomas kitchen, Rock is laying down exactly what's going down. Unique is back and he is terrorizing every single thing. Now he's working with somebody and no one knows who Unique is working with at the moment. So she's telling everyone we need to stay low key. Now we hear Kanan say, Marvin, that don't even sound right, does it? Unique is back and he's terrorizing us. We should just lay down in the cut and let him do whatever he's doing. Well, Rock, they don't know exactly what Unique wants, but since he didn't take her out, she's like, all right, it ain't that serious yet. He just wants to hurt and make everything that we have depreciate. But Kanan, he don't hear that. Kanan, he wants to get out in these streets and get revenge because at this point, if Rock ain't got no work and Unique is taking over, Kanan ain't got no work. Now Marvin, he's saying that belt needs to go to ass on Kanan. Rock is sitting there and she's confused on what to do. So they look over at Juke and they ask Juke, what should we do with your knucklehead talking back cousin Kanan? Juke looks at them and is like, Kanan is grown. Y'all need to let Kanan do what he do, and you need to start listening to him because obviously the way y'all been running this whole thing, it ain't working. And then Juke gets up and walks out. So the parents are looking at each other like, what the hell? Now that the kids have left the room, Rock, Lou, Marvin, the siblings, they link up. And she's explaining to Lou what is exactly going on. Unique is back. Now, like I said, they don't know who is backing Unique at the moment. So when Lou hears this, he's like, man, look, all BS aside, I'm ready to handle business. I'm stepping on whoever, whatever. If Unique is back and he's trying to terrorize these streets, then he has to go through me. You hear Marvin talking about, hey, Lou is back. My little bro is back. But Lou said, I always been here. We just know Lou has been focusing on that music because he needed to generate some income and also get himself away from drinking. So right now, nobody's can drop. We got to reiterate, no one can drop anybody because it's going to mess up everything. But we got to try to slow Unique down. Unique and Pranessa, they're sitting down and they're kind of catching up. But you got to remember, there's some brain trauma on Unique. He ain't thinking straight. All he knows is his brother is gone. He was on the side of the road stanking, and now Rock is in his position. So when Pranessa says, I don't think Rock had anything to do with what happened to you, Unique gets upset. He knocks the glass of water down. He's like, you think you know better than me? You think she didn't do this? And she's like, nah, I'm just saying. I'm in your corner. I'm working with you. But Unique, he's going through it. Pranessa is his safe spot. She calms him down. But for him, all of his troubles point back to Rock. And he wants revenge. Kanan and Jukebox, they go to the diner and they have a little conversation. Kanan wasn't trying to hear what Rock was talking about. He wants to get his money. Juke wants to know what happened to Fame. We still haven't got any information about that. Now, she's asking him and he's like, man, I'm thinking about what old boy said at the park. Maybe it was a dirty cop. But if it's a dirty cop, that leaves us with who? Garcia and Howard. We're wondering, okay, could they have done it? But Jukebox, she just wants revenge for Fame. Now, Kanan, he's been saving up money. He had like 300,000, 250, we aren't for sure, but he had it saved. And he wants Juke to come and work with him. Not for him, but with him. Because she's the baddest nigga that he knows. And after what we seen at the park, oh yeah, she's going to come on in here and be security for Kanan's crew because they have been robbed and OC ain't protecting nobody. Rock is still trying to figure out how the hell is Unique back and who is he with. So she goes to talk to Snaps and Pops to see if they have any information in the streets about what's going on. Now, you hear Snaps and Pops talking about you need to go directly to Stephano. What you got with Unique is what you got with Unique. We aren't in business together. Snaps and Pops makes it clear. We're in business with Kanan, not with Rock. So your business is your business. We ain't got no issues with Unique. But you need to go talk to Stephano and see who they beefing with. And they're the first ones to mention maybe it's one of the family members. And Pop says they're all in line until they're not in line. But at this point, they don't get any information and they walk out. But you hear Snaps and Pops say that this could potentially be an opportunity now that they know that Unique is back alive. Unique is back. The streets are different. The Chinese spot, you can't go in there and get the special sauce no more. They got guards in there. Take your butt across the street. You want the secret sauce? It's across the street. You want that special order? It's across the street. Now, Irwin is looking and he ain't making no money. This is why he didn't want to stay in business with Rock. He wanted the money, but he didn't expect this bad outcome. People were dropping, but now there's no money coming through. No one's getting the secret sauce. And across the street, Unique pulls up, big mink on, all the chains on, respect. Marvin and Rock go over to talk to Stephano. And they're like, what's going on? Now, Stephano knows a little bit more about the streets, especially when it comes to the 5 families. Now, remember, the families are all in the line in New York. They take the trash out of New York to Jersey. So he's assuming that whoever's doing this, that's back in Unique, it has to be the mob. Now, that's just what he's going off of. No one really knows. But it seems like there's trying to be a proxy war. And a proxy war is where the 2 big guys, they may know each other. They aren't at war, but the little guys up under them. And this is where Rock and Marvin find out that they actually the little guys. They thought that Rock was moving her way up the ranks, but Stephano is letting her know, you work for me. In the Chinese spots, you might lose those because you messed up the deal with Quan. So do as I say and just be quiet until we figure it out. Rock didn't like that at all. Kanan told Juke that he's been putting some money away so they can go into business on their own. And we know that he's been holding the money over in the storage locker. Well, he goes over to the storage locker, but when he gets there, the lock on his storage is already open. He goes on the inside, the lock to the trunk is already open. He opens up the trunk. There ain't nothing in there, but it looks like a dollar bill. Someone has robbed Kanan, and all fingers are pointing towards OC because we ain't seen OC in a while, and we know that OC was the last person to see him. So Kanan is upset. He's running straight back to the crib to ask, where the hell is OC? When Jukebox gets back home, she talks to Marvin, and he's like, you've been messing with my gun again. Well, he's not testing her this time. He knows the life that they're in, and especially with this potential war kicking off, he gives Jukebox the gun and he tells her, I need you to have some protection, but after all of this dies down, I need the gun back. Now, Juke is saying this lifestyle is it's the environment we live in. Marvin says, no, this is the life that I live in. I don't want you in any of this, but I do want you to be safe. So Juke, the demon that we just seen, she has a gun now with no supervision. Rock goes and talks to her Afghan connect, Hazif. She's looking for that work. And he's saying it went from 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Now it's going to take at least a month before he can get any product in the street because he's from Afghanistan. What do we know was going on in 93? There was a war over in Afghanistan. So he's saying it's going to take us a little bit. Rock is upset because Unique is moving in and taking over the blocks. But we can only move whenever he says we can move because he got the product. This is a part of the negotiation that Rock put in place. But she's trying to speed things up, trying to fast track it. B-Rilla and his crew, they get ready to go and rob Lowe's house. Now, when they get there, it's a big mansion. Now, they said there was no security. There is an alarm system, but they got to manually do it. B-Rilla looks, and he's like, I can't go in there. Lowe will know who I am. So they say, well, you can sit in the van, but they take the keys. Now, there's somebody in the house, and the reason someone's in the house is because if there's a safe, they got to open it up for them. So they get out and they go up there. B-Rilla looks out the window. He gets out the car to get a better look, and all he hears is pop, pop, pop. Gunshots are going off in the house. This was just supposed to be a robbery. Juke still got that steel on her, and where did she go? Back to the club. Now, we haven't seen Mara in a while. When Juke gets in here, she's just drinking on a couple of beers, and she turns around and she sees a woman on the dance floor. This is the same woman that gave her a drink the last time she was in here. So Juke goes over there and starts pushing up on her. Juke got that stainless on her too. They end up going to the bathroom. And when they get in the bathroom, Juke got to take that gun off her. Juke, are you happy to see me? Or is that a pistol in your pants? Well, old girl goes downtown Julie Brown on Jukebox, and then Jukebox tells her, no, you can't get my number, but thanks for the night of service. After the shooting took place at this botched robbery, they come running out. B-Rilla's talking about, what happened? What happened? They said, man, somebody had a gun in here. Your boy had a gun. So we put down him and his old lady. So B-Rilla's looking like, wait a minute, y'all took out Lowe? Oh, Lord, this was just supposed to be a robbery. They didn't get no money. They didn't get no valuables. They didn't get anything. No assets, no paintings. They come out shot, and they got to hop in the van and dip off. This went from a robbery to a homicide. Double homicide. Stephano ended up calling Marvin up because he wanted to have a conversation with him outside of Rock. Now, what we hear is Stephano mention that a made man's son got knocked off and they found him in the river. Now, I'm looking at this as Early Tyler and the guy that owed him some money because this is just random, but Stephano was telling Marvin about it. But what he's really here for is to tell Marvin that we can't have a war on our hands. We can't have any bodies drop. In Rock, she's using too much emotion. We need to remove Rock, and Marvin, you're the perfect guy to do it. But Marvin hears this and he's like, nah, that's my sister's job. I'm not taking that. And Stephano, don't ever mention that to me again. So Stephano, he backs off of trying to make Marvin that guy, even though he's still thinking, Marvin, you could be the guy. And he tells him, handle that business that I told you to handle. And then he leaves. Kanan pulls up on the block. His boys are out there shooting dice. Now, they supposed to be on a mission to find out where OC is. He tells them, hey, yo, come over here. They pull up on the car. He's like, where OC at? They're like, man, we ain't heard nothing. He disappeared. But they do mention that OC used to kick it over at the arcade. You go to the arcade, you might find OC. And if OC has all of Kanan's money, trust me, he's beating whatever game he wants over there because he got unlimited quarters. B-Rilla shows up to his studio session with Lou, and you could tell that something is off. He's reading the Billboard magazine, but he's nervous. Lou said, yeah, Lowe is going to show up because we got your new sound. We need some more ears on it. B-Rilla's thinking, wait, Lo just got popped during a robbery. You sure they said Lo is going to show up? And Lou was saying, yeah, and I'm saying he's going to show up. Well, sure enough, Lo shows up and he says, man, something crazy happened. The people that were renting out my house, they got popped, both of them. So B Real is looking, wait, you wasn't at the house? There was people renting? So not only did they not steal anything, they shot the wrong people. Lowell is alive, and Lou's talking about it ain't safe nowhere. As Kanan is cruising the streets headed over to the arcade, trying to find out where OC is, he drives by the Southside Plaza. And what does he see? None other than Raquel, Buckley, and Roland. Yeah, the two officers that been extorting Rock. Well, she's giving them some money. And Kanan is looking like, what kind of deal does she have with the police? What does Rock have going on? Now, he doesn't know that she's potentially paying them to protect the neighborhood, well, the plaza, or he doesn't know if she's paying them money because they took out Famous. That could be what she's dropping the bag off for. Thank you for taking out Famous. Here's your money. That's what Kanan is thinking. Unique shows up to Snaps and Pop's place of business. Now they looking like, oh, if it ain't the Southside King himself. Unique comes in here and he's like, yeah, I'm here. Just like Jesus, I died for other niggas' sins. Now remember, Snaps and Pops both said that they aren't in business with Rock. They in business with Kanan. Kanan gets his work from Quan. Unique works with Quan. This is just another business opportunity for Snaps and Pops. Unique's issues with Rock ain't got nothing to do with their money. Their green is good everywhere. All of the siblings, they show up at Joyce's house. And when they get here, Marvin and Lou were there first, and they're just talking about why they're really there. When Rock shows up, she hasn't seen Joyce. They start talking about maybe Joyce was an all right mother. She didn't know any better. See, you learn how to be a parent from your parents. The good, the bad. You learn from them, and then you implement your own things to it to make it even better. And Lou was singing maybe Joyce was a good mother with all she knew. And then they start talking about when Rock turned 5 and how Joyce did as much as she could. They couldn't afford a dog, and she didn't want a dog. So she brought all the kids on the block that had dogs over for Rock's 5th birthday. Lou, he ends up having to leave because they can't go step on Unique, so he's out. Marvin and Rock have a conversation about what's been going on with Stephano. See, Lou isn't involved in this part. She's like, so wait a minute. The feds weren't lying when they said they seen you coming out the fish shop. Marvin said, yeah, okay. Maybe I did do some side jobs with him. She said, well, why didn't you tell me, Marvin? He said, I don't have to answer to you. My whole life don't revolve around you. But I did something with Stephano, and here we are. I didn't want to even have this conversation. But you need to go and talk to your mama, Joyce. Now, we all talked to her. You haven't. So what you going to do? You need to go on in there. But Marvin is making it clear. He has his own life also. You aren't his boss, Rock. He looks out for you. You look out for him. That's it. But go talk to your mama. Kanan's sitting in the dark, and Crystal shows up, and she's scared as hell. What the hell? Kanan's like, it's just me. But can I trust you? She's like, yeah, you can trust me. I love you, Kanan. He said, yeah, but the people that love me are the ones that always do me dirty. Now, right now, he's hurting because OC is gone, the money is gone, and he's seen his mama dropping a bag off to the cops. So he tells her, I know who took out Famous. He says it's his mom because he's seen her paying the cops. But I don't think Kanan really knows what's going on. And this leads us back to the first season where Rock told him, you think you know everything, Kanan, but you really don't. The last thing we see is Rock going in there and finally talking to Joyce since she's been home. Now, Joyce didn't want Rock to come and be the one to delete her because she knew that Rock actually wanted her to suffer. And Marvin and Lulu both called that out. Now, these two, they both have a conversation and they start talking about when she was 5 and how she wanted a dog. And then you hear Joyce saying, yeah, I had a vacuum for 6 months, all that dog hair from them mutts. Now, it was all small talk, but this is maybe the best conversation that these two had with each other. And from there, Rock goes ahead and gets the morphine and puts it in Joyce's IV, and RIP to Joyce, her last breath in the hands of Rock. All right, there you go. The recap for episode 7, Raising Kanan. Let me know what you think about this. Is Kanan wrong for assuming that his mom had Famous deleted because they think it was dirty cops and he seen her paying the money? And also, what do you think about Marvin and Stephano's connection? It seems like Rock is going to potentially tell on Stephano, but Marvin, he might be trying to maneuver in there if things get too ugly in the streets with Rock. Let me know what you think, and where the hell is OC at? Let me know what you think about episode 7. I'm J. If you like this kind of content, please give me a subscribe. Hit that like button. We're on that road to 75,000 subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.